Hi, everyone. My name is Star Johnson. I'm a former uh, high school and college men's lacrosse coach, and I'm putting together this video as a tutorial on team offense for my nephew Chris, who is coaching his son Caden in youth lacrosse. Chris never played the game, doesn't really know the game, but has generously volunteered to help coach his son's team. And we had a conversation a little while ago, and he asked me if I could help him with some uh, team offensive concepts. And I said, sure, I do what I can, and I thought maybe putting together this little video might be helpful. If other coaches in a similar situation, coaching at the youth level, perhaps who don't really know the game well, happen to see the video and it's helpful to them, that's great. So anyway, here goes. I think one of the mistakes that coaches sometimes make when they put in offenses is that they immediately go to a set or a formation, such as from the top down, like a 2-3-1 or a 1-4-1. There's a few others which we'll go through in another video, and they'll put in a formation and kind of consider, and describe how you run that formation and consider that to be team offense. To me, it goes a little bit deeper than that, and I think to really understand team offense and run any formation, because any formation relies on the same basic concepts, that a player and teams really need to understand basic team offensive principles or concepts, which apply regardless of what the formation is. So we'll start off here with some pretty basic stuff that might seem fairly obvious, but need to be pointed out anyway. Okay, so every team offense, first of all, needs to protect against a fast break. Okay, there needs to be a player, at least one player up top, who has the ability, is able to get back quickly to help protect against the fast break by the defensive team. Okay, that's kind of an inviolate principle. Second inviolate principle that any team offense needs to be able to do is back up a shot. We don't want to lose possession off a shot. Somebody needs to be hopefully below goal line extended or behind the cage and be able to back up any shot, so we are able to keep possession. Okay, very basic stuff. The third concept is spacing. We don't want players too close together because that allows a defense to double team. It's easier to play defense if the offense is clustered together. Basically you want to spread the defense out as much as possible without putting yourself in ineffective positions. The more you can spread the defense, the harder it is for them to play team defense. It opens up passing lanes between the defensive players. So in general, we want to be well spaced, not too close together. Also, if two players if a ball carrier is too close to a player, adjacent to him, it's an awkward pass. It's hard to put the right touch on the ball, and it's a lot harder to react quick enough for the receiver to catch the ball. So you want to be at a comfortable distance that makes passing more comfortable. Okay, and related to spacing is the concept of balance. And when I say balance, what I'm talking about is that we want to be able to attack the goal from all over, from every possible position. We want to be a threat in as many ways as possible, and be able to attack from anywhere around the perimeter and on the crease. If we're all kind of situated on one side of the goal or all up top, it eliminates opportunities. We want to take advantage of all the opportunities that might be there. So essentially, we need to be able to attack from up top. We need to be able to attack from each wing. We need to be able to attack from behind the cage. We need to be able to attack from the crease, which is the area immediately in front of the cage. And for those who aren't familiar with lacrosse terminology or lingo, the crease, as I said, is the area immediately in front of the goal. Behind the goal is usually called X. I'm not sure why, but that's what it's called. The wings are on each side of the goal, typically above goal line extension. Okay, I'll try to explain terminology as we go along if there's any terms that some people might not understand. So we have the first four are protect against a fast break, back up the shot, spacing. We want to have good spacing, and we need to be balanced in order to take advantage of every opportunity that might be there to attack the cage. Okay. The fifth concept. We want to be able to provide a ball carrier with a safety valve whenever he has the ball. We always need to have what are called adjacents, the people who are on each side, going around the perimeter of the offense, players on each side to the left and the right of the ball carrier. They're called the adjacents, the adjacent player. The other guys are off ball. Adjacents are off ball too, but typically we call the other three off ball. So whenever a player who has the ball is in trouble, we need to be able to provide outlets for him to pass the ball. In order to pass the ball around the perimeter, there's got to be adjacents to the ball as well. So the fifth concept is that we always need two players adjacent to the ball, one on each side of the ball carrier. Okay, and essentially this concept is what often causes offense to rotate or replace, and we'll go through that a little bit more later. But anytime, for instance, if a ball carrier moves with the ball, dodges or carries the ball, we need to be able to rotate so that we're always in a position to be adjacent to the ball. Okay? The next concept, the sixth concept, relates to the idea that most these days most team offense is generated off a dodge, initiated off a dodge, and obviously there are some set plays which aren't necessarily initiated off a dodge, particularly on man-up offense. But typically, offense happens based on a dodge. And what happens when the player dodges is that if he is able to beat his man, it's going to cause the defense to react and play team defense and rotate so that somebody slides to the ball and tries to pick up the ball carrier. It's going to cause the defense to be out of position, and when that happens, the offense can take advantage of that. So based on the idea that most offense, team offense, is initiated off the dodge, one of the really basic principles of team offense is that we always want to enable or support the dodge. Okay, when a ball carrier either just carries the ball or dodges, the player who's in the path of the ball carrier needs to do one of maybe four different things. You can't just stand, that player who's in the way can't just stand there and do nothing. So probably the most basic thing that the adjacent might do would be to do what we call clear space, which means to cut out of that area towards the crease, typically, and clear that space for the dodger. Okay, and that will take the defender, that player's defender, away from the space as well, so that that player can't double team. If that offensive player's defender doesn't go with the guy who's cut through, then it opens up a what we call a slip situation where the cutter is open and can hopefully get a pass from the ball carrier. The second thing that a ball carrier or the adjacent who's in the path of the dodger might do would be what we call fade or drop, which has the effect as well of clearing that space out for the dodger, and basically that the adjacent person would drop back or fade towards an open area, which would open up the space and hopefully draw the defender with him. And if not, as I said, it basically allows that player to be open for a pass and hopefully a shot. The third possibility might be that there might be kind of a two-man rotation where the dodger would be dodging in a direction of one of the adjacent players, and the adjacent player would basically mirror that dodge towards the inside and end up back where the dodger started out from. So we call that mirroring. It's basically a rotation, and it ends up replacing to become another adjacent to the ball carrier. Remember, we always need adjacent outlets on each side of the ball. So that mirror rotation would provide the replacement for that adjacent where the dodger had just vacated. Then the fourth option might be that the adjacent would set a pick for the ball carrier. Instead of clearing space, they would set a pick and hopefully be able to generate something off of the pick. Picks are often set by the adjacent players, but not always. It can come from elsewhere on the field as well. So once again, the sixth principle, basic principle for team offense is we always want to enable and support the dodge. Okay, and there's essentially 4 different ways that we can do that. We can clear space, cut through, fade or drop, which sometimes develops into a slip. We can mirror, rotate, a mirror rotation, or we can set a pick. Okay? And by the way, in another follow-up video, we'll go through different formations and see how all these principles apply in the formations. And one of the things that really is great about lacrosse is all the different options that are set up by these 4 different possible options in supporting a dodge. And they just set up a lot of different ways that each formation can generate offense. And hopefully I can make that clearer later on. Okay, so moving on. Number 7, and this is something I kind of added to my set of principles, is that we want everybody on the team, all 6 players, to be a threat all the time. So each player should be looking for opportunities to be a threat. Some of the different formations are more amenable to involving everybody at the same time than others. And again, we'll kind of go through that at some point later on. But each player needs to try to occupy their defender, and either by cutting, setting picks, or basically just looking for a passing lane where the ball carrier can see them and can get the ball to them in a position where they might be a threat to score. So we're always looking to, at the very least, create a passing lane with the ball carrier. And it means you need to be looking at the ball carrier all the time and trying to make eye contact with the ball carrier to create passing lanes, as well as possibly cutting or maybe setting a pick to an off-ball pick with another player. And at the same time, each player needs to honor those responsibilities that we went over earlier. Somebody needs to be able to defend against a fast break. Somebody needs to be able to back up the shot. And we always need to rotate so we're in a position to be adjacent to the ball. Okay? The 8th concept, and maybe these are in reverse order, maybe not, but number 8 is the ball carrier needs to have his head up always to see what opportunities are available. He needs to be able to see the field and see his fellow players because they might be open. They might be in a position to get a shot off. So he needs to keep his eyes open and see his teammates. Okay, this is really, really important. And then the ninth, and I think the final principle that I would identify anyway is we need predictability. And this is where different sets come in, formations come in, by putting players in a certain formation. We know that we always, things get kind of jumbled up during a dodge and when the ball gets passed around. But if we always know that we're kind of returning or basically wanting to be in that particular formation that we've identified, it gives us predictability. We're going to know that there's always an adjacent to the ball carrier. There's always going to be outlets for the ball carrier, and so on. And we always know that there's going to be somebody to back up the shot. We always know that there's going to be somebody up top to protect against a fast break. So once again, different formations give us predictability, which we really want in any team offense. I think that's it for this session, Chris, and I'll try to do another video which we can maybe go through the different formations that are used and go through how they implement these different principles and maybe put in some show how they work to some extent. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions, I'm happy to try to respond or answer what I can. But these are what I identify as basic team principles. And I want to add too that when I was starting out at the high school level, even though I had played the game, I don't think I had ever really had somebody put together a comprehensive scheme of what's necessary in team offense, the basic principles, until at one of the New Hampshire preseason New Hampshire Coaches Association meetings, we had a little seminar by one of my fellow coaches, New England coaching legend, Gordy Webb. And so I want to point out that I'm indebted to Gordy for that. And he's no longer with us, unfortunately, but Gordy was a hell of a coach and a good guy. Anyway, take care, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, bye.